This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks around the world. But here now the news for May 19th, 2023. And you probably know where we're starting. Disney has announced that the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is closing permanently this September. The final voyage will embark on September 28th. Disney's statement on the matter reads as follows. The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is one of our most creative projects ever and has been praised by our guests and recognized for setting a new bar for innovation and immersive entertainment. This premium experience gives us the opportunity to try new things on a smaller scale of 100 rooms, and we will take what we've learned to create future experiences that can reach more of our guests and fans. We will be contacting guests booked for voyages departing on or after September 30th to discuss their options and modify their plans. To prioritize these guests, we are pausing new bookings until May 26th. We are so proud of all of the cast members and Imagineers who brought Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser to life and look forward to delivering an excellent experience for guests during the remaining voyages over the coming months. The announcement comes after months of disappointing occupancy. The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser debuted just over a year ago, back in March of 2022. And while bookings were at capacity for a while, the current operations had reached a point where there were only enough guests to fill one dinner service. Low occupancy cruises were being canceled, and rumors indicated that Disney was opting not to renew many entertainment cast contracts. They began offering discounts to Disney Vacation Club members and cast members recently as well. Starcruiser won the TEA Thea Award for Outstanding Achievement in Brand Experience last year. Starcruiser offered a 3-day, 2-night immersive Star Wars adventure on a fictitious cruise ship where guests became part of the conflict between the Resistance and the First Order. It included an excursion to Batuu, themed meals, and live entertainment. It also had a very high price tag, with trips starting at $4,809 for 2 guests for a standard cabin, which has 1 queen-size bed and 2 twin-size bunks. The price increases if you add more guests, with a family of 4 looking at upwards of $6,000 for a standard cabin. Guests can also reserve larger rooms, such as the Galaxy Class Suite that sleeps up to 6 people in 2 bedrooms, and the even larger Grand Captain Suite sleeps up to 8 guests at an even higher price point. And although a number of discounts have been released for the Galactic Starcruiser over the past few months, the final voyages are not expected to offer discounts once bookings resume, save for a special offer for those who were booked on voyages after the closure date. Currently, bookings are paused again, as we told you, through May 26 to allow Disney to work with those who had booked those canceled voyages. And once bookings resume next week, discounts will not be offered to Disney Vacation Club members nor cast members as they have recently been offered, and voyages will be charged at their full cost. I assume that also means pass holders. That discount is gone as well, and there was a Visa card one too. Additionally, those booked on the canceled voyages following the scheduled closure will be contacted by Disney in the coming days to inquire about a rescheduling or canceling. Those who choose to rebook on an earlier date will receive a 50% discount on their voyage cost as compensation. That's a really good deal. Okay, you know we're going to stop and rant because I have ranted about this many times. We have 3. I've been on it 3 times. To my knowledge, I am the guest who has done Galactic Starcruiser the most times, at least at the time of my last voyage. That's what the cast had told me. So we have 3 reviews. If you haven't watched those and you want to learn more about Starcruiser, I would watch those. I know a lot of you have. And I've ranted on this show about it as they, as occupancy was down and they went down to the 1 meal service and all these things. Ranted and raved that it needed to be discounted, and they finally discounted it. And now, after all that, the discount was working to an extent, by the way. I don't want to say it was failing, because it wasn't anymore. They were supposed to, in the fall, start going down to less voyages a week. That was supposed to happen shortly after this cancellation date. And instead, very abruptly, and let's be clear, based on all that we just talked about, it is clear this was a very abrupt decision that some management made. This was something that just very short notice, I would assume. As I've said before, I think the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is the best thing they've done, as the Disney Imagineering and the company in total, in a very, very long time. I think it's the most ambitious thing they've done. They tried to create something completely new that people had not seen before, and I think they succeeded. I adored the experience. I know, again, we're not talking about the price. We ranted and raved about the price and that they priced people out, and it kind of doomed the thing from the start. But things were starting to turn around with the discount. But it might have been too late. It may have been too late. They may have, by being so greedy in the beginning, Disney management may have sabotaged the whole thing, which is a shame, because I'll say this again. The cast and crew of the Starcruiser are the best Disney cast members Walt Disney World has to offer. These people are hardcore Star Wars fans who believed in this thing and tried day in and day out to make it the most unbelievable thing, and they succeeded. They succeeded at a level that the rest of Walt Disney World has not in a long time, and I can't imagine will. We've been out of the Chapek era long enough to see that the damage was done. And I don't see this thing turning around. I don't see Disney World getting back to any sort of former glory. Like, it may be slightly better than it was towards the end of the Chapek regime, but it just seems like the maintenance is not turning around. The cleanliness is not turning around. We're still making decisions like this where we're ending something that was meant to be innovative and change the industry forever and create a whole new line of business for the themed entertainment industry. And we're clearly, despite so much success, despite awards and all these rave reviews, we are giving up on it. Despite all these cast members who care so much, we're giving up on it. Despite the fact that it's clear they were definitely operating at a profit, because how could you not, even at a discounted rate? They're still giving up on it. I am angry. I am incredibly depressed about this. I'm very upset. I am upset at a level I haven't been in a long time, probably since they closed the Great Movie Ride, where it just felt like such a monumental mistake, and we were losing such a special thing to Walt Disney World. And that's what this feels like. Now, immediately people ask, what does the future hold? I mean, the easy answer is probably that this is going to open as a hotel. If you let people book that dinner show. I mean, they're going to write a new dinner show. I think it's inevitable that they rewrite the dinner show. And if that comes back and is bookable, it will be hotter than any other dining reservation in Disney World. It'll be harder to get into than Cinderella's Royal Table, right? And I assume whether it's for the guests in the hotel or people that are traveling from Hollywood studios to go to the dinner show, whatever, the stupid box truck transport will probably survive. The hotel itself will survive, but if it's not this immersive experience, if it's not 2.5 days of living out the story of what's happening on Batuu, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be as good. Because let's be honest, design-wise, the interior of the Starcruiser is not the thing that worked. The rooms are not the thing that worked. The rooms are kind of on the small side. They're cool. Don't get me wrong, they're kind of on the small side, and they have all three different styles of beds have the most uncomfortable mattresses in any Disney hotel on earth. And that is saying something if you've been to Disneyland Paris, and my Paris guests know what I'm talking about. I think that says something for sure. Those are not the things that were the strength. The strength was not the rooms. It was not the building. The strength was the cast, the entertainment, and what the Imagineers had drawn up for this, I don't even know what to call this immersive game, if you will, where there were all these branching paths and all these different really cool entertainment experiences, like the Yoda holocron thing, thinking about the engineering room and the really cool stuff we got to do in there. All these really cool moments. And there's so many. You have to go watch those reviews, because I could probably name 20, 30, 40 really cool moments I either witnessed or was a part of in the 3 voyages I took. I am heartbroken. I'm heartbroken that more of the world will not get to see this. And it's coming to an end very soon, and we have to say goodbye to something. And so let's talk. We could talk about this little press release, this little blurb they put out. This whole thing of like, oh, it gave us an opportunity to test something with just 100 guest rooms, blah, 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 blah. This wasn't a test. This wasn't a test. This wasn't meant to be a test. The amount of money spent was not a test. It didn't have 100 rooms because it was a test. It had 100 rooms because that's how they felt they could control the experience. They could offer a quality experience with a certain number, up to a certain number of guests. And if it was more crowded, then you dilute the experience at that point, right? It's essentially a live dinner show experience that takes place over 2 days. And if you oversaturate that, if you put too many people in it, it's not doable for the entertainers, right? The personal experience was important. The fact that entertainers learned your name and even people were thanked individually at the end of the experience as part of the big ending show, the finale, was so imperative to the experience. But again, strip that all away and it's just a building. It's a moderately themed, kind of okay looking building. This is one of, in the 16 years I've covered Disney parks, this is one of the most depressing and disappointing moments of all. And I know there are people gloating. I've seen social media people are like, yeah, they got what they deserve, blah, 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 blah. They didn't though, right? Like the one thing I agree with in that statement is when they thanked the cast, the entertainment, and the Imagineers who worked on this, because it's clear those people cared. They cared so much. And so for this, it is a sin that this is being taken away from those people, even more than it's a sin that it's being taken away from guests. But the opportunity for them to continue to make that magic for guests is going to be lost. And those of us who have gotten to do Starcruiser are extraordinarily lucky to have seen this thing function. And you'll be able to tell people we've got some great, those of you like me who got to go, we've got some street cred over other Disney fans, right? Like we saw this incredible thing that's never going to happen again. Never going to happen again. But again, back to that test thought. This wasn't a test. It wasn't a test. This is what it was meant to be. It was meant to be a thing that could then be rolled out in other places with other themes. And certainly they could retheme this. It could be another different Star Wars experience. It could be themed to something else. But I think they are clearly they're going to give up on the format. They're going to give up on the format. I would be stunned. I would be shocked if somehow this came back just with a different story or different experience. I don't see that happening. I think management threw in the towel. Even though it was their fault, it failed. It was their fault for pricing it so poorly. All the negative press was that, and even every incredible review, whether it was from the paid shill people who went or people like me who actually paid to go, and still after forking out that much money, still came here, sat here and said, man, that was one of the best things I've experienced anywhere, any themed environment on Earth. And they sabotaged it by being greedy, by being too greedy. It would have made so much money anyway. But because we needed to push for that, we just had to keep pushing and no, we could charge $6,000. Oh, people pay $6,000. Yeah, people did for a couple weeks. And then by then you had publicly ruined it. You had pissed off so many people and created a narrative about it being this overpriced thing that it could never recover from it. It could never recover from it. Yeah, I'm sorry for rambling. This, as usual, is not scripted. I just wanted to talk about it. And if you want to hear me rant more about Starcruiser, again, those 3 reviews I rant plenty about, especially in the third one, when we knew things were not going well. I ranted a lot about what should happen and why it's important it happen. But I just want to say personally, I want to personally thank everyone who was involved in Starcruiser. Again, at Imagineering, or the cast and crew, the entertainment, everyone on there, food and beverage. You've all done a tremendous job. If this gets to you, you've all done a tremendous job. I am so grateful that you were all there. And my first 2 cruises were amazing, but I got to take my parents in December, and they still talk about it, and they will for the rest of their lives. And I will, till the rest of my life, I will carry the memories of those 48 hours with me. And how happy my parents were and what a good time we had. And that's priceless. Yeah, it was overpriced. And yeah, Mega Corporation wrung me out for some money. But in the end, I have some memories with my parents that are irreplaceable and will never be duplicated. They will never be duplicated. So I will say this, if you're on the fence, May 26th, they're going to go back on sale. Do it. do it. If you think you're going to regret the rest of your life that you didn't get to see this, do it. And you know what I said in the first review? I said, you know what? Don't, please do it, but don't take out a loan. Don't overextend yourself because, wait out Disney and get it when it's discounted. Well, the discounts are over now, and now what's left is left. So I'm not going to judge you in this situation. If you need to somehow figure this out financially to go do this, so you don't regret it the rest of your life, I'm not going to tell you not to do it because I get it. And if you're a Star Wars or Disney Parks fan, you're not going to regret it because you're going to be glad you're one of the people that got to see it. So again, yeah, I'm going to try to book the final voyage. I don't know if it's still going to be available. I assume a lot of these people with canceled cruises are just going to move to the final one, and it might be full at that point. But on May 26th, I am sure as hell going to try because I know how much this experience has meant to the cast and crew and staff, and I think it's going to be one of the most incredible farewells of any attraction or anything there's ever been at a Disney park, and I just feel like I need to be there. I got to see this thing. So, knock on wood, we'll get in, but see what happens. If not, I was very lucky, and I got to do it multiple times, and I loved it. So, that's all. We'll move on. I'm sure we'll talk about this more somewhere at some point, but we'll move on for now. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has responded to Disney canceling their Lake Nona move. Quote, Disney announced the possibility of a Lake Nona campus nearly 2 years ago. Nothing ever came of the project, and the state was unsure whether it would come to fruition. Given the company's financial straits, failing market cap, and declining stock price, it is unsurprising that they would restructure their business operations and cancel unsuccessful ventures. Disney has not responded to this statement. Cancellation comes amidst the ongoing battle between Disney and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Disney has simply cited changing business conditions as the reason for the cancellation. Of course, the rather polite language used in the announcement may be due to the pending litigation between Disney and the Florida governor. Following that, Walt Disney World President Jeff Vahle made a statement, not necessarily in response to Ron, but just about the change in plans. Dear community leaders, today you may have heard the news that Disney is no longer moving forward on the construction of a new campus in the thriving and growing community of Lake Nona in Orlando. Since we first announced this project, several dynamics have changed, including a change in company leadership and evolving economic and business conditions. Regarding our world-class destination, our desire is to continue investing in our core business in an effort to attract and welcome millions of visitors to Walt Disney World in Central Florida each year so they can enjoy the kind of hospitality our region is known for around the world. Our plans currently call for us to invest $17 billion in Walt Disney World over the next 10 years and create 13,000 new jobs to continue doing our part as a leading employer in the hospitality and themed entertainment industry. We hope those plans will become a future reality. For decades, we have operated our business responsibly, and being the region's largest taxpayer, we paid and collected over $1.1 billion in state and local taxes during the last year alone. As the largest single-site employer in Central Florida, we are deeply rooted in this community, and we continue to make investments for the betterment of our region, such as our contribution of 80 acres of land to create affordable and attainable housing for our community, which was announced last year. Groundbreaking on this development is targeted for next year, with the first of 1,400 units anticipated to be completed in 2026. We also continue to invest in our community through our broad array of philanthropic and citizenship efforts. Over the last 20 months, we've provided $6.5 million in grants to locally based nonprofit organizations such as Give Kids the World, Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Florida, Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida, Conservation Florida, Heart of Florida United Way, Hope Partnership, the Nature Conservancy, and more. This is on top of the donation of millions of hours of time that cast members have contributed to deserving organizations over the decades. Of course, none of this would be possible without the amazing dedication of the 75,000 cast members who call Central Florida their home. To them, we offer the best overall benefits package in the Central Florida hospitality industry, including an $18 an hour minimum wage by the end of the year, which is well above the state's minimum wage, affordable medical coverage, subsidized child care, access to free higher education through Disney Aspire, our 100% paid tuition programs, and pathways to help casts at every step of their career. While today's decision was not easy, we remain committed to our cast members as well as you and our wonderful community. Sincerely, Jeff Vahle, president of the Walt Disney World Resort. There's a big dichotomy in the Ron DeSantis statement and the Jeff Vahle. Now look, in all the years I've been around, I have picked a lot of fights with Disney management and called them out, when needed, right? I think we try to be very fair at WDWNT. I think that the Ron DeSantis statement is, again, what we've come to expect, right? It's very much, oh, Disney's not doing well, blah, 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 blah. There were tremendous incentives to the Lake Nona campus. The reason Disney was moving was Florida's friendliness to business, right? That was the reason why they were leaving California and moving to here. There were all these incentives to come and bring that business, to focus that business in Central Florida, right? The only thing that's changed since then is Central Florida has not, and Florida in general, has now not been very kind to the company, right? So let's not mince words. No one's really saying it here, but obviously the reason why Lake Nona is canceled is really, it's not because Bob Chapek's gone and they're changing directions. It's because of this whole war over the parental rights and education bill. That's what this is all about. If they were changing this just over, Bob Chapek and the regime change, when Bob Iger had the chance to say they weren't moving forward with Lake Nona after Chapek was fired, he would have said that. He did not. He said they were moving forward with it. And there was not a hesitancy in when he said that. This is a recent change. And this is not, and let's be honest, like the Walt Disney Company has some financial struggles for sure, but there was no reason to not move forward with Lake Nona from a financial standpoint. It was because they're kind of at war. They're kind of at war with the governor. That's where we're at. So I know there's a lot of reading between the lines on both sides that needs to be done, but let's be clear, that's what's happening here. And is the governor going to retaliate further? Or are we just going to go to court with this case? We'll have to wait and see. But seems every time we come back for a new show, there's some update, a new development in this whole ordeal. So we'll have to wait and see what that is. I said on Disneyland News Today, we talked about the move being canceled because it was Thursday. What I said on that show is I think the silver lining, no matter what, as a Disney fan, is that Walt Disney Imagineering is staying in Glendale, which is great. That's where it should be. That's where it should stay. And so, at least that happened. Maybe not the way we envisioned it would happen, but it happened. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT and their team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts to the Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. They'll book Galactic Starcruiser too if you need them to help you out on May 26th. Go ahead. They are also able to book unforgettable VIP tours where you and your group can experience the ultimate park day. The best part is their concierge services are 100% free, so book today. Christine McCarthy, the Senior Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, speaking at the SVP Moffitt-Nathanson Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference, commented on the Walt Disney Company's plans for investing in the Disney theme parks. She explained the company's plans for theme park investment are based on Disney Plus usage and data. McCarthy stated the Walt Disney Company will continue working on using existing intellectual property with special focus on the ones that really resonate with our consumers. She indicated that Disney utilizes consumer data from Disney Plus to inform the company on viewing patterns. The Imagineers and executives can then use that data to identify trends to exploit in the theme park business. By identifying popular titles and media within Disney Plus, McCarthy hopes to incorporate the most popular intellectual properties within the parks and fund their expansions appropriately. Former Disney CEO Bob Chapek made similar commentary last fall, just before he was fired, where he said he sees a theme park future that integrates Disney Plus much more closely. It was finally confirmed that the new Walt Disney World annual Passholder magnet will feature Figment. In a new video shared on the Disney World Passholder Facebook page, they confirmed the new magnet will feature the purple dragon from Epcot. The video features a white fence with the Mickey Mouse annual Passholder logo above new Passholder magnet coming soon, painted in pink letters, and Figment then adds his name in purple paint and then walks away. Disney has not yet announced when or where the magnet will be available, but much to my chagrin, as I said on the last show, Figment is presented in the new Mickey short style, which is a weird thing to see. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Following a suspension due to the catastrophic Phantasmic fire at Disneyland last month, the fire-breathing effect has returned to the Maleficent dragon float in the Festival of Fantasy Parade, the Magic Kingdom. One of our readers named Stevie sent the video in to us, showing Maleficent back in her fire-breathing glory at the park. This marks the end of the 24-day absence. Select fire effects were suspended at all Disney resorts worldwide following a catastrophic fire again on the Dragon and Phantasmic at Disneyland in April, which ended in Murphy being completely destroyed. The effect in the Festival of Fantasy Parade was suspended the following day, but ironically not at Phantasmic at Hollywood Studios. Ironically, though, the same exact dragon float in Paris still not breathing fire. They haven't reinstated it there yet. The live-action version of Ariel will begin her character meet and greets at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World on May 26th, the day the new The Little Mermaid adaptation is released in theaters. We previously posted about Walt Disney World, Disneyland Resort, and Disneyland Paris hiring Halle Bailey lookalikes. And at Disneyland Paris, Ariel will appear in a limited-time celebration, which may or may not begin on May 26th as well. An Ariel meet and greet will open at Walt Disney Presents in Hollywood Studios, where Sully from Monsters, Inc. used to be. He's now in Pixar Place. And for a limited time, a sneak peek and props from the film will be available at Walt Disney Presents as well. Since Hong Kong Disneyland reopened from its second COVID-19 closure in September of 2020, the park has operated on a 5-day-a-week operating schedule, but now the park is ready to move back towards daily operation. Starting the week of June 18th, Hong Kong Disneyland will move to 6 days a week of operation, with alternating closures on Tuesdays and Thursdays depending on the week. In July and August, multiple consecutive weeks are already listed, with all 7 days open on the calendar, a first for the resort which hasn't been open for 2 full weeks in a row since 2020. Since September of that year, the park has closed Tuesdays and Thursdays except for public holidays and surrounding busy weekends. It's the only Disney property on Earth to not be open daily. Hong Kong Disneyland is typically open from 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. or 9 p.m. daily, reflected on the calendar. These hours will not change. With daily or near daily operations returning, this marks another watershed moment in the Disney parks returning to normal following the pandemic. I think, funny enough, I think I was there during one of their very last full weeks of operation in 2020. So it's been a hot minute since I've been to Hong Kong. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members watching who make the show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Also, best journey.
From WDWNT TV, this is Park Center. Join us each week for news and discussion topics from the Disney and Universal theme parks around the world. We cover the stories in a quick, concise, and fun format, and then our panel breaks down and debates some of the biggest issues and what they mean for us, the parks fans. From the latest announcements to openings and delays to scandals and snacks and merchandise and more, we'll cover it all in 90 minutes. Join us live every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at WDWNT TV, or watch episodes on demand anytime. You can also subscribe to the audio version of the show on your favorite podcast app.